This episode of the SwitchCast is produced by James Mats Matamagno, our honored patron and Switch Knight. Hey everyone, I'm Casey.
And I'm JV.
And this is the SwitchCast, the podcast for the Switch enthusiast. And we are hopefully have all our ducks in a row this time. We have JV. I hope the sound is all fixed and good today. And we need a win this week, JV. We need this episode to go off without a hitch.
We can do this, 2 weeks with a few hiccups is okay. But I feel like we brought in the heavy hitters. We're going to do great this week.
That's right, because we've decided we have to make up for having an episode with only 2 hosts or 2 people on the show. So this is probably the first regular episode we have brought in reinforcements for our old friend, probably one of the oldest, I'll call them podcast alumni of ours, and a real friend of ours from way back, Rin Okami. Say hi.
Hi.
Yes,
Hello.
You've been playing, if you've been in the Discord chat recently, you've been playing with her.
On Minecraft.
On Minecraft quite a bit. But yeah, she's been a real big part of our podcasting community as a whole, even before the SwitchCast was even conceived.
Even before the Pocket Player. Like, she's been involved in everything that JV and I have worked on for, I guess it'd be at least a decade now.
Yeah.
Just about. Mm-hmm.
Man, we've known each other for so long. What is up with that?
I know. I was just thinking the other day, oh my god, it's been like 7 years since we first met up at PAX East. Like, 7 years.
Oh, man. It's been a while, but it's been a real fun journey getting here to the SwitchCast, and I'm glad that you're a part of this community too, Rin.
Aw, thank you.
Yes. But the main reason we actually did invite Rin to join us today was because she's been delving pretty deeply into the Minecraft world, have you not?
Yes, I have.
Mm-hmm. And we thought that's a game that really deserves someone who has a little more in-depth familiarity, and you've been a real motivator for the community especially in the Discord chat, and you've just you become the foreman of the SwitchCast Minecraft crew.
I suppose. Most of them seem to be playing on my world, at least as far as the survival gameplay goes. I know Lord Bones has a creative world that he's been inviting people to play on too, but yeah, for some reason they all decided they wanted to play on my world, so okay.
So it's fair to say it's your world, they just play on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally, in Minecraft terms, that's correct.
Thank you. But I haven't started playing Minecraft yet. I played it a little bit on PC before, but it's just, it's hard for me to get into another very deep game when I have to review, new games every week. JV, you haven't quite, but you plan on getting into Minecraft, right?
I do. I'm the type of person that's compelled to play this type of game. Though I'm obviously in your similar shoes as well. We have so many games we have to cycle through. It's hard to dedicate something to a game like Minecraft, which doesn't really have an end at all. Something
that did come out now, one of those games that obviously has also been a very big time sink. It's just one of those games that you could play forever. Obviously, is Mario Kart, and that is still going very strong. We still have the weekly tournaments, and I will announce right now that I mentioned last week we would have our first competitive tournament for Minecraft with the prize
Mario Kart.
being. Yes, Mario Kart, what'd I say?
He said Minecraft.
Oh, guys. Okay. Our first official Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tournament, with the prize being the NES Classic that was offered up for us to give out. By the time this is up, the entry will be up. I will post links to it on Facebook, Twitter, and in the Discord. I'll pin it up there. But it's going to be a survey. I basically want to gather as much information that's relevant. Like, we need to have your email so we can contact you. I just want to know what your location is so we can figure out time zone stuff. But that's the entry form. And then once I get all the entries in, I'll probably leave it open for maybe up to a week. And then when I see how many people are actually going to be involved in the tournament, I can figure out exactly what plan we're going to do, whether it's going to be several, groups of 4 or 8, or if there's not that many, we'll just have one, big Grand Prix someday. But if there's a lot of people, I'm going to make it a pretty epic league that'll take place over several weeks to get to a real winner, to deserve that prize there.
Right. We definitely have a lot of plans for this big prized tournament. We just need to know the scale that we need to plan for.
Hopefully it'll be big and epic enough to deserve this prize, but
even if it's small, we're going to make sure it's epic.
Yeah. But Mario Kart actually brought up an interesting, and I wanted to hear what your opinions are, and the listeners. I definitely want you guys' opinion on this. A little bit of a moral quandary that came up while playing Mario Kart this week.
Interesting.
Now, yeah, so this is kind of interesting. Now I was playing with the missus during the week, and we'd played maybe like 2 times we've played now so far. And the first time I was player 1, she was player 2, and we had a pretty good time of it, and she was doing pretty well, and I did all right, and we had a good time. The second time we played it, I had grabbed this player 2 controller. She was player 1. And I noticed when I had started, the game by default puts a controller to the steering assist mode and the acceleration assist mode. So, in other words, the first time she was playing, the game was helping her steering out and her acceleration or whatever it does. And that was an option that I said on the show. I was like annoyed that was the default setting, and I didn't even know it was going to be default for both controllers. So the second time we played, I definitely felt like she had a more frustrating time, and the game was like, it was a little harder, and I was like, okay. I didn't realize till after the fact that she must have been playing with the steering assist on the next time. Now, here's my moral quandary to you people out there. Now, obviously, she's listening to me talk about this, so she knows this exists now, and it'll be up to her whether to play with it in the future. But I want to say to you people out there, maybe you people play with someone who isn't, let's say you're playing with someone who might not enjoy the game as much if they're not doing well, or if you're playing with someone who you really want to, have a good time. Do you tell them about the steering assist? Like, if you put it on, do you tell them about it? In which case they might either A, feel like, oh, I don't want to play on handicap mode, and they'll turn it off, and they might not have a good time and might hate the game, or do you not tell them about it and just let them play the game and enjoy it a little bit more, not knowing that they're playing with that handicap? Because she didn't know that it was on the first time, and I didn't know either, but it wasn't until later on that I found out, oh, that little thing was on helping her out. So okay. I'm curious what your opinions are on this situation.
Sure, okay. That's actually an interesting situation that you posed, and I do have an idea about it. Now, right, it could seem insulting to certain players if they know that they're on some sort of assisted mode. But ultimately, for myself, I would probably divulge information based on how often I expect this player to play Mario Kart with me.
Okay.
Yes, for example, if I'm playing with incredibly casual players that aren't probably going to invest any further time into Mario Kart, I don't have to worry about telling them. They can enjoy. They're not going to try to get better. So the steering mode, sure. Keep it on. Don't tell them. It's not a big deal. But if there's someone who isn't that great at Mario Kart and might play with me in the future and might want to improve their game, that's something I would bring up immediately and let them know this is an option. If you want to take this option or not, go for it. So it's dependent on the person that is participating and their future with the game itself, at least in my opinion.
I honestly, this is something I don't think there is a defined right or wrong answer. Hence why it's a dilemma. Yeah. Rin, what's your opinion of this?
I kind of agree with JV. It really depends on who the other person is. If it's someone who's not going to be playing it terribly often or isn't going to be playing it very seriously, does it really matter? Probably not. But on the other hand, if it's someone who's going to be playing fairly often and they discover it on their own, the hard way,
Just
one
like
day,
you did,
one day it's turned off and they're like, I suck suddenly, what is this? That's not going to be good for them,
Yeah.
See, for me, there was the temptation not to tell her about it because it is such a huge deal for me to get her to enjoy playing a game and to increase the amount of times it will happen in the future. And in my head, a part of me is like saying, okay, yeah, but if I don't say this and she just keeps playing and she does better, it'll play more. But at the same time, I feel sick. I feel like, physically uneasy inside hiding something like that from my wife and then like feeling, I don't know, it feels patronizing in the end to be like, oh, by the way, you've been playing,
You're stupid.
Right. You're an idiot. You've been playing on idiot mode.
Oh, no.
No, but honestly, in your situation, Casey, I think it would be, in my opinion, I think it is good that you bring it up because you're in a situation where you can have your wife play more often. So she's gonna probably play with you at least once more in the future. You can make it a recurring thing, and that's something she can improve with. It's good for you to tell her.
The funny thing, though, about playing these kind of games with her is that in the moment, like, she gets very angry. Like, she will curse, especially a game like Mario. She will curse. She will damn the game to heck. And, like, you will not get the impression that she is having a good time with it. But then, like, the next day she'll play again. So it's really not an indication that she's not enjoying it or doesn't find the game fun. It's just, it's weirdly how I think part of the enjoyment is that she gets angry and will curse profusely at the game.
You mean that there are people who play Mario Kart who don't curse?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess everyone, yeah.
What is that? That's not me.
That's totally fair. I mean, if it's someone like my parents, and they're probably going to play once or twice a year at most, I'm not going to bother telling them.
So definitely, listeners, if you think there's an interesting take on this, or you think there's only one true answer to this, definitely send us some of your opinions. I'd love to hear more takes on this, and you can email me directly, kc@theswitchcast.com. And yeah, I'll probably read some of those responses next week because it is just an interesting situation. Okay, all right. So now we're getting to the game. So I think it's a good time for us to switch gears and go into the playtime and talk about all the fun stuff we've got our hands on. We're back, and it's time to dig in deep with Minecraft specifically. I mean, we got you here for a reason.
Yes.
And I want to, not only, you can go over a little bit of the basics of what Minecraft is for those, 10 people listening who haven't heard of it. I mean, I guess there's a lot. I mean, everyone knows what Minecraft is about, but I know it's evolved and changed 100 times since then. Mm-hmm. So maybe catch us up on the basics. Tell us how it's evolved, and then tell us how it's come over to the Switch in this here.
Well, I like to call it Legos with zombies.
That's a very appealing way to put it, actually.
At least as far as survival mode goes, the creative mode is pretty much just Legos. But, it's a sort of a sandbox survival game, kind of, where everything in the world is made up of blocks. And you have, dirt blocks, and you have wood blocks, and stone blocks, and all these other blocks, and you can build pretty much anything you want with them. There are things that will try to kill you, like zombies and skeletons and that sort of thing. And there are credits you can get to, but there isn't really an end to the game. or anything like that. It's very open.
Mm-hmm.
It's really it's hard thing to describe. It's a much better experience than listen to, because if someone's describing it to you, you're kind of like, what?
Right. It's the most literal sandbox game you could possibly imagine. It's just a big pile of dirt and trees and animals,
right?
And you just punch things and then build things and
just punch trees.
Move on to building bigger things.
But what's most fascinating about Minecraft is just how big it really got. Like, it's so unexpected that something as not really simple, but something as it is simple. Yeah, it is simple.
Something
it's the simplest graphics you can imagine.
Yeah, very simple graphics. YouTube really propelled Minecraft to success because the whole idea of Let's Playing Minecraft on YouTube became such a thing.
Right. That's actually a really good point.
It really propelled a lot of YouTubers' careers, actually.
Right. And it's interesting because Minecraft did come out during that time when YouTube Let's Plays were starting to gain popularity.
Right. It was just kind of like that perfect storm, you know? It came out just at the right time. So that kind of helped propel the success of Minecraft and get more people into it because, as I said, it's not really something you can just read about and be like, oh yeah, that sounds great. It's much better to see someone doing a bit like, oh yeah, I can build that too, and I can do this thing. And
that's how I got into it. I mean, I remember watching the first couple of people playing it. I seeing some YouTubers just to see what the heck it was all about. And just the idea that, like, it was kind of giving the narration and just had the basic understandings of like, okay, I need to build a house quick before nightfall. I'm intrigued already. And then, like, he just builds the shelter and then he locks himself inside and then, like, he's just looking out like a hole and you see all the Minecraftian horrors that come out at night.
Let me tell you a little story about how I started Minecraft. my first night in Minecraft. This was back in alpha because they did they did a pre-release for Minecraft like way back in alpha. You got it like a big discount on it and stuff like that. But I had no idea what I was doing. I did not have a house built by the time night came. I didn't even have a hole in a cave. I pillared up with some dirt, and I just stood up there while the skeletons were shooting at me because I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm pretty sure I died.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you probably would.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting because it is a sandbox game where you build stuff and you put together blocks to make your own creations, your own buildings, your own towns. But there's also that survival element, and I don't know if I'm not sure if Minecraft was one of the first games that really took advantage of that survival theme. You know, it's really become a genre nowadays with H1Z1, DayZ, etc.
Yes.
But was Minecraft probably one of the first, if not the first, of that type of genre?
I don't think it was the first, but it was probably the biggest at the time.
I mean, I've played some PC games that are, you know, like almost ASCII style, but that were the same kind of thing. Just very simulation-based survival, post-apocalyptic type games, but they were very complicated. Like, that was the thing of the ones I've played where it's like literally you have to read an instruction manual to know how to do it. Minecraft, it's, okay, I'm going to put 3 blocks in a row like this. Ooh, I made a stick. Now I'm going to put 3 blocks like this. Ooh, I made a pickaxe. It's like, you know, it's just very approachable once you kind of understand the core mechanics and you're good to go.
Right. And that, you know, that approachability of Minecraft itself is why Minecraft on the Switch seems like such a good fit.
Yeah, so how does Minecraft change now? Like I said, I played it like maybe week 1. I got into Minecraft and I played it for about a month and then I just kind of faded from it because it was PC and you all know how bad I am with computers and how poor mine are.
That's an understatement.
Yes.
So it's a matter of I'd be curious what has officially been updated in the game since then and like what are the big changes it's undergone and are all those changes in the Switch version?
Well, not the console versions which the Switch is a part of. The Switch is actually not quite up to date with the other consoles, but it's getting the updates soon.
Cool, okay.
But the console editions are behind the ye old Java version on PC. Not terribly far behind. They want to get them to the point where they're releasing them all simultaneously. They just haven't quite gotten there yet. But as far as what things have changed since, like, the very first days of Minecraft, a lot.
Okay, I can imagine.
There have been changes to the combat. They have a food system now where you can get hungry and starve. That's the thing. They have added new mobs, they have added new dimensions, they've added the end of the game, quote unquote.
Oh.
Is that when you have to dig and fight that dragon or something?
Yes, you have to defeat the Ender Dragon. Lots of little things, just...
Right, improvements and iterations as the time passes.
Right.
Right, just natural.
More biomes, more stuff to decorate with. There's the update that's coming out very soon on the PC version. I think they're calling it, like, the colors update or something like that. They're overhauling, like, the color for the wolves and stuff like that, but they're also adding, like, these really cool-looking terracotta... They're called glazed terracotta. But they're blocks that have, like, these crazy patterns on them, and you can arrange them to, like, make bigger patterns.
Oh, that's actually
Put them
really
together,
cool.
and they're just, it's awesome. my inner builder is just squeeing with delight.
Just hearing that really makes me think of all the possibilities that Minecraft offers a builder or someone with a creative spark. It's a really good outlet for that. I'm just wondering, I know the Switch version is limited in comparison to the PC version, but
yeah.
What really can you do on the Switch?
As far as all the console versions, you are limited compared to the Java version. You have limited world size, you have a limited amount of what are called entities in each game. Entities being like monsters, animals, basically anything that's not a block. Is an entity. There are limits to how many of those you can have in the world. Like, a couple times we were trying to breed cows in our Minecraft world, and it would pop up with an error saying that it was too many cows in the world. So we would have to, run around and just kill some things.
In order to allow for more cows?
Yes.
Natural selection.
Pretty much. But... and as far as, like, the Switch version goes, the Switch version, the worlds are smaller than, say, like, the Xbox version or something like that. It is several times larger than the Wii U's Minecraft worlds were. So,
okay.
Several of the guys in the chat who had the Wii U version were saying how much bigger the world was.
Imagine just being used to the Wii U version, because if I recall correctly, the Wii U version was actually pretty well received too.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I had it myself, actually.
Okay.
I'm curious. I know that the graphics. Do you know what the display level was on the Wii U version? Because I know some people were making a note that it's not only 720p on the Switch when it's in portable mode, but it's actually
720 docked
the
as well.
same when it's docked.
It is. I'm not sure what it was on the Wii U, to be off the top of my head. I usually played it on the gamepad. So.
Not that I feel like it matters. Does that even matter much on a game like...
The resolution?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe it bothers some other people. But I do know that docked, the Switch version has a longer render distance than it does in handheld. I haven't actually played it docked yet. I've only been playing it in handheld, so I don't know.
Okay.
But but the docked version, it's not like you can't see. It's a decent render distance. It's just bigger on the docked one.
Tell me about now the multiplayer options and modes on this. Now, are you playing when you say that you're playing in the same world with a bunch of our other SwitchCats? Are you playing survival mode? Are you playing the what's the other one? The builder mode?
Creative mode. You can do either. Okay. Mine is set to a survival mode. I do have admin privileges, so I can turn it to creative if I wanted to. But it's set to survival. Like I said, Lord Bones has a creative world that's, strictly for creative stuff that he's doing with other people on
and just to clarify for people, when you're in creative mode, that means you just have unlimited bricks.
Right.
Like there's no threats or anything like that, really.
Yeah, when you're in creative mode, you are invulnerable. You can fly, and you have access to pretty much all the blocks in the game just through a menu system.
Okay, you don't have to cut down trees in order to build anything first. Okay,
no.
yeah.
And you can just punch something and it breaks instantly. There's no you don't need tools or anything like that. Whereas survival mode, you need tools, and you can be hurt, and you have hunger that you need to keep sustained and that sort of stuff.
So tell me how that's going right now. Like, what are you all doing together on the server? How did it start, and where is it going right now?
Well, we're pretty much gearing up to get ready to go to the Nether, which is one of the dimensions, and we want to find a time when we can get as many people as possible. There is a limit. You can have, it's only 8 people, I think, per world. But we want to have as many people as we can, especially with a lot of the newbies in, because some of the guys want to record us playing it, and we want to get their reactions, because that's always hilarious.
In the Nether?
In the Nether.
That sounds pretty interesting.
Yes.
So what's this Nether about? Yeah, that's one of those things that I'm not familiar with.
Okay.
So what's that all?
Do I want to spoil it for these guys?
Oh, it's something that you...
If it's spoilery, then you don't have to tell me. It's just
basically,
then that's fine.
it's pretty much hell. Okay.
Okay.
It's the underworld, and there's lava everywhere. And I don't want to spoil anything. There are some very particular monsters in the Nether.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil because when we hear their reactions, you will understand.
I can imagine bringing new people into Minecraft underworlds is pretty.
We're going
it's gonna
to
be
hell.
A fun time.
Let's go. But yeah,
it sounds like it's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, so we're gearing up for that. We got our little spawn town all set up. We got a bunch of stuff set up. So
now, I guess in your situation, you had the Wii U version, and now you're playing the Switch version. Other than the handheld mode, is there really something that excites you about the Switch version over all the other console ports?
Other than handheld mode,
Yes.
not particularly.
Okay.
It's the handheld mode makes it for the Switch. None of the console versions are ever going to beat the Java version of Minecraft, in my opinion, because that's where all the mods are. That's where everything is updated. That's the official. That's Minecraft right there on the PC version. But as for the console versions go, like the Xbox has bigger worlds and stuff like that. But as far as portable Minecraft goes, nothing beats the Switch. I mean, there's Minecraft Pocket Edition that you can play on your phone. Nothing compared to the Switch.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I know I did play Minecraft Pocket for a little bit, and while it does have the rudimentary building functionality, it didn't really feel that deep, or it didn't have all the mechanics that you'd really expect from Minecraft. So
they have updated it, so apparently it's better than it used to be. But if you don't have a controller for it, it's terrible.
That's the thing. I see so many people playing it with just the touch. Like a lot of people I see playing it on a tablet, and it's just like it does feel like the kind of thing that really, having buttons and having a little joystick to move around with is the most natural way to play this.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like the fact that you can take your console creations with you to go is really the big selling point of the Switch for Minecraft.
Yes, definitely.
Now, none of these are cross-platform with anything, right? Like, if you have the Switch version, you're just playing with other Switch people.
Unfortunately, yeah, there's no cross-platforming involved, and also, unfortunately, with all the console versions, there are no dedicated multiplayer servers yet. Okay. With the PC version, you can either host your own server, or you can rent a server from Mojang for like $15 a month. That's called Minecraft Realms that they do.
Cool. Okay.
I saw a documentary about that, about how those, like, some of those, like, have degraded into, like, their own micro economies or macro economies.
Well, that might just be the Minecraft servers in general, because, I mean, there have been other server hosts hosting Minecraft worlds prior to the official Mojang Minecraft Realms became a thing. And a lot of them were huge and had their own economies, and it was just bonkers.
That's nuts.
But
There's so much to it.
As of right now, none of the console versions have dedicated multiplayer servers. If you're playing multiplayer, someone is hosting their own world. Well, in our case, it's usually me hosting my world. But then when I go offline, you can't get on that world when I'm not there.
Okay. All right. So it's only when you're there. So there has to be a host. So
right.
if people want to continuously play it, you'd kind of have to either leave your Switch on all day for them to join in.
And then somehow figure out a way so it doesn't go into sleep mode.
Right.
If it goes into sleep mode, it
it disconnects.
And it cuts it off. Oh, I remember people talking about that in the Discord chat about getting a second Switch and leaving that on and having a button that automatically taps the Switch button every few minutes or so.
Yeah.
Seems like an interesting solution.
Ugh.
So how do people who are interested in joining other Switch Cats and playing Minecraft together, how do they find a place to meet up and join in this kind of action?
Well, you can ask on the Discord chat for the SwitchCast.
Exactly.
Link to the Discord is in the show notes.
Or you can check out the Facebook group.
Oh, okay, yeah, we'll definitely post about this on the Facebook group, yeah. And
Absolutely.
like I said, in the show notes will be links to all this stuff.
Yeah, and honestly, there's just so much to Minecraft, and it is such a communal experience. I'm excited that you guys got together so quickly to start playing together.
Do you have any long-term goals now? I'm just curious, like, where this is going. I mean, it sounds like you're pretty far in just the short time since it's been out, about a week now. Do you have, like, long-term goals for your server?
Well, I would like to have a group go to the end as well after we're done with another eventually, once we're geared up and ready for that. Again, get everybody together, get some people to film it if it works out the first time. And when we go to the end, we do that. And then when we fight the Wither boss, which is another monster, that's pretty much the end game.
It's so cool that Minecraft has one.
Until the next update.
Right. I pretty much have my own big build finished, so I built like a wizard tower for myself, so.
All right, awesome. Thank you for telling us all about that. And, we'll be sure to give updates on the group as time goes by. And I want to hear how this is going. And if you have any videos that go up, definitely let us know and we'll link to it.
Sure.
On a similar note, I've actually been playing a game. You mentioned how Minecraft is basically just a giant Lego kind of world. I have been playing a literal Lego game. I actually dove into Lego City Undercover this week.
Mm-hmm.
And you've played the Lego games, any of the other Lego games before?
I've played some. I played like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and I played Jurassic Park.
Okay, yes. They have a lot of great licensed ones, right?
Yes. They're a ton of fun, but I think Lego City Undercover is a bit different from them.
It is. First off, it's the first one I know of, or the first one I've ever played that isn't a licensed property. It is just their own original-ish kind of setting. I mean, they're lampooning in general, like 80s cop movies, kind of. The game itself is not a stage-based kind of action game like those ones are either. It's more of a GTA style open world. And it's literally like, there's the city, you can jump into cars, but since you're a cop, you're not jacking them for their car, you're commandeering it. So you say, police business.
For justice.
Yes, basically.
Oh, no.
You can't run people over, they all just dive around, you can't even punch people on the street. So it's basically the most sunshine and lollipops version of Grand Theft Auto you can imagine. Like, you literally could just whistle and people stop their cars to let you take them.
Oh my.
Here's the thing. I really enjoyed a lot of those, like, Lego games before. Like, I've played, I played the Star Wars, I played the Lord of the Rings ones, and those are fun because, there's a lot of action, you have stages. Sure, there's a little bit of, like, figure out how to get over here, and you build the ladder out of the blocks, and then you go fight some goblins and stuff, and it's never too challenging, and there's if you die you always came back, but it was still those were fun action games that didn't require a lot of tension or thought. This really lowers that level of action in that it's easy even by a Lego game standards. Like,
interesting.
It has the humor. So if you know in any of these movie tropes, like they're making like references to, there's like a scene, there's one mission where I have to go sneak into a prison and, do some undercover work and steal some information about an escaped prisoner. And they make a lot of like Shawshank redemption jokes there. And it's still got the humor like that. But I'm thinking now, it's super easy that like, it's so easy that like, I feel like you have to really be young to enjoy the action of it. But at the same time, I feel like the humor level is like really making like, it's really aimed at people who are pretty old by those standards. Like if you're getting a Shawshank Redemption joke, you're not 12 years, you're not 8 years old, you know? And I think 8 years old is like where the challenge level is. Like literally the few fights I'm in are just hit A near a guy and then he just goes down in some, pre-scripted kind of attack motion, and then you handcuff him and it's over. And it's like 3 guys max at a time. It's the most of the game is exploring, which I like generally. You explore the city, you try to find where you have to go in the prison. You change costumes that give you new abilities. So like I could put on the mechanic outfit, and since I'm disguised as a mechanic, I now know how to fix like electrical boxes and stuff. But all in all, it's really boring. I've been very uninterested in any of the stages. It's really overspelling out everything for me. There's always a thing at the bottom of the screen that I can't turn off that tells me the next little thing I have to do. Right. I don't know. Okay. It's just, it's been very tedious.
It sounds like it would be a very good game if you had a young kid who wanted you to sit back and watch them play.
Right. Well, there is a co-op mode here, so maybe if you wanted to delve into a Grand Theft Auto style game with maybe a younger sibling or a younger relative or younger friend, this might be a good game for that.
Younger is the word. Like I can only really feel like this is a game I would enjoy playing. It with somebody who is really young and needs this level of hand holding and level of just feeling good. Like I could see someone that young feeling really cool with these really over-the-top attacks that happen when you just walk near an enemy and press A once. And it looks cool for the few times that there's the battles, and then it's just more exploring and, the jokes are still there. I mean, I guess that's why the jokes are more adult-based. It's there to make me laugh, and then if I'm playing with like an 8-year-old kid, they are just looking for the next, scene to go looking around and punching stuff and breaking background items. But I guess the bottom line is, do not think of this like one of the licensed games. This is not one I think you will enjoy if you're over the age of 15 and you are looking to just play something by yourself. Even the Grand Theft Auto nature of the open world. I mean, it's kind of cool that you could jump in all the cars and you can even build these little places where you can order any car you want delivered to you and stuff like that. But even just driving around the world doesn't feel like there's that much interesting to dig up and uncover. So, definitely not something for solo play. But like you said, a family game, I guess. Yeah,
and it's interesting because this Liquor City Undercover initially came out without co-op mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So, the co-op mode was a relatively recent inclusion on the PS4 and Switch versions. So, it seems like it'd be a little bit of a harder sell without that co-op mode.
I mean, again, since it's on the Switch and you can bring it with you somewhere, and it's something you could play with a kid on the go. But see now, but now we're throwing a lot of like, it's good if you're in this circumstance or you're always with this sort of thing. So I guess I'm actually kind of giving this a thumbs down, except for, very specific situations. But for the general listener of this podcast, I think I would not recommend it if you, don't have one of those situations on your hands.
Right. Which is interesting because this game is relatively well received.
Yeah. I like all the Lego games. They're funny and they've got the cool characters, and I dig the gameplay. But I guess I just need a little more action. That's why I like the other ones. I liked fighting a few goblins here and there, or, spinning the lightsabers and just mindlessly bashing enemies rather than bashing background objects looking for the next pathway.
That's totally fair.
Well, something I wanted to say more about, but I can't. I mentioned last week that I was playing NBA Playgrounds. I was generally surprisingly positive about it for a basketball game. I was digging it, but I was saying how I had to wait to review the online mode, which was supposed to get an update soon thereafter. But the update for the Switch has not yet come, and we don't know when it will be here. So for the time being, NBA Playgrounds is a not online game, which is kind of a lame letdown since that's where it's gonna thrive.
Yeah, right. I feel like the replayability of NBA Playgrounds would be based on that online mode.
It could be decent. I mean, it has fair local multiplayer, which is fine, especially on a TV. And, if you got the 4 controllers going, it could be, and when I say 4 controllers, I mean 4 full controllers, since, like I said, you can't really share the joy with this game. But it needs online to really hit its stride. And I think for a full $20 game, that's not too much to ask for. So I have to reserve it, but I'm going to say, if it doesn't come soon, that's going to be very bad news for this title in general. And I'm going to be I think people are going to be rightfully angry who bought it expecting that to be part of the package.
Right. Especially considering it was advertised to have that functionality at some point.
So that's all the games we've been playing for this week. We got a bunch of news to get through today, so why don't we catch our breaths, fix our ties, and get businessy with the news rundown. All right, news rundown, and we have quite a couple of things that I thought pretty interesting. And the first thing I wanted to mention, because this is something I actually was very interested in back, even when I was playing mostly on my handhelds and my mobile phone, the 8-bit Do, or 8-bit Do.
Yeah, 8-bit Do.
Yeah, let's go with that. This was a really popular series of Bluetooth controllers, and their whole claim to fame is that they have a lot of different designs. They have a very strong retro look to them. Like, some of them look like, I would want to say some of them look like just NES controllers, but some of them look like NES controllers from another galaxy, like very, like, they're really nice looking and fancy looking controllers. But they were primarily, for me, I was interested in them because they would work on iPhone games, and they even had little attachments so you could hook your phone up to the controller and kind of make it look like an NVIDIA Shield sort of setup,
Yeah.
Right. Well, they just updated their software so that it now is compatible with the Switch. And this has some very interesting implications, because this now provides anyone who wants one of these a $40-ish alternative to buying a whole new controller, Joy-Cons. Yeah. I mean, even if you bought 2 of these, it would be $80, and then that would be cheaper than a Joy-Con. So if you wanted just either one controller or just like a really cool different type of controller, this is a pretty good option for people.
Right. And what fascinates me about this whole situation is that this 8-bit Do or 8-bit Do controller is now compatible with the Switch. For some reason, I thought that the Switch is going to be a closed infrastructure for controllers, and it wouldn't really communicate that well with third-party wireless options. But it does. And the fact that 8-bit Do is able to connect to the Switch opens up so many possibilities.
Yeah.
The first thing I thought of was Bluetooth wireless GameCube controllers for Smash.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the thing. I see on there, they have 8 different models. So you could have a Super Nintendo one.
My inner child is aching for that Super Nintendo one.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, the Super Nintendo one doesn't have any of the little joysticks, any of the analog sticks. So for games like Mario Kart, that might not be ideal. But if you were more interested in using it for something like Shovel Knight, it's perfect.
Or if they eventually release Virtual Console.
Yep, that's true. I mean, a lot of people have been aching for the old Batarang N64 controller option, and that's there. I'm honestly most interested in the NES 30 Pro, that glowing disc NES controller one.
It's I just love the possibilities of this thing. My boss had one. He had it to play with his mobile games, but the fact that a controller he already had is now compatible with a Switch, it actually compelled him to look into more multiplayer options.
Oh, very cool.
For games. You know, he only had the original Joy-Con, and so he felt like he was kind of limited in his multiplayer game options. But now, here's another way to get another player into your Switch games without spending a full $80.
I'm very tempted by these, not only for all the reasons we just mentioned, but keep in mind, it's still compatible with all the things. These aren't just Switch controllers. These are compatible with many other Nintendo devices and mobile games as well, or any mobile games that support their controllers. So I was already interested in them just as a mobile game controller. But now that it's a Switch controller also, there's just so many reasons to grab one of these. And I will put a link to some of them on Amazon in the show notes if you want to check them out. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They're affiliate links. So if you do plan on buying one, use those links to help us out here.
I'm definitely more interested in the Famicom 30 Pro.
Okay.
I just like the aesthetic of the Famicom better.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, if you want to go a little different and classic, like, original OG classic.
OG classic, even more classic.
There was a game we forgot to mention. A couple of people were looking forward to this game. Toho Kabuto versus Burst Battle. I love these names.
Wait, is that versus or 5?
Oh, 5. Yes, I was.
So it's Toho Kabuto 5 Burst Battle.
5. Yes. I see battle and I see V. I think it's versus. And so this is a Switch version. This is a game. It's a shmup, but with like bullet, like a real bullet hell kind of shmup, like one of those ones that you need to memorize what's coming against you. But it's very anime girl driven, I guess you could say. Instead
of piloting a plane or a mech, you're actually controlling a witch girl, and she's fighting against other witch girl creatures, beings, and it's actually the Toho franchise has had a really big following for quite a while now, and it's I guess that's why they got up to 5, huh? Yeah, absolutely. It's its own Japanese subculture essentially, and It's very interesting that it's coming to the Switch, and especially coming to America. Yeah, right, because this does seem like one of those games that might have been passed up before, but it seems like a lot of these. A Switch is getting a pretty decent attention by some of these games that I feel like otherwise would be more Vita type titles. Right, exactly. All of these Japanese publishers that would usually only publish on the PlayStation or the Vita are flocking to the Switch as well. And I feel like that's a really good sign for the Switch being a console supporting Japanese niche games like this. So did you all take a look at the trailer for this newly announced game called Astro Duel Deluxe? Yes, I think we did. Yes. How would you describe what this game is in 5 words or less? 6-player asteroids insanity versus mode. 6-player asteroids insanity. Yeah, that's sounds about right. Yeah. No, that's really a strong way. It that's pretty much it. It is kind of a asteroids game, like where you're just a little triangle on the screen and you circle and you float around shooting asteroids, but it's a versus game where you and up to 5 other players will be flying around trying to blow each other up
grabbing special weapons as well. It looked like there was even like melee type weapons. Like some of them had like laser sabers connected to half of them, and they would drive into the enemy with them, and just stuff blowing up everywhere. Very short, chaotic battles, and it looks like it's just meant to be these, quick enjoyment, matchups in different arenas and stuff.
Right, and I'm always a big fan of these types of games because they're not a big investment. They're quick, they're fun, and they support local multiplayer experiences, which is something I'm a big fan of.
I'm really curious to see how 6 players can, handle around, on one Switch.
It'll be crazy, but that's kind of what the game's going for.
Yeah, and that's coming out May 30th currently.
Yeah, so it's coming very soon, next week.
All right, and then we had the leaks of, and this is the big thing that a lot of people are talking about for a couple days now, the Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. At least that is what we've seen in the leaked cover image and a few other little information tidbits that came out about this. This could be if it's true, the Mario Rabbids Ubisoft title that we've been hearing murmurs about here and there.
Honestly, I feel like it is pretty credible. Just the way it looks, it seems like it's something that's possibly correct. It's just a well done graphic that I can actually see happening. Yeah,
so I think it's credible mostly because I'm pretty sure this wasn't leaked. I'm pretty sure I'm convinced this was planted and just played off as a leak. Like they wanted to kind of like get this out there and cause people to have a buzz because there's been so much murmuring and rumory talk about this for a while now. People have been building up some hype. And now they kind of just wanted to drive that home. I just get the feeling that this was an intentional leak.
I mean, it's definitely very much possible.
It looks like from the pictures that it's actually going to be a turn-based, if not RPG, possibly kind of an XCOM style game, like a strategy game.
Yeah, which there really weren't any leaks to the actual gameplay. We don't really know too much about that aspect of it.
One of the images did list a few of the gameplay features.
Features, right.
And it mentioned turn-based gameplay. So if all this is true, that is the style of game. Turn-based combat, 65%, it says, and exploration, 35%.
Right. It's definitely interesting, and I know the reception to this is a little polarizing. Some people are willing to try it out. Some people are just very turned off by it. We'll see how it goes. On my side, I definitely want to hold off any really big opinions on it until I've seen a few more details on the gameplay.
I like though. So what do you think? The characters. So we have the Mario cast. We got Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Princess, and
then we have the Rabbids. One of them dressed up as Princess Peach taking a selfie. Good lord! I have to say,
they're all dressed up as Mario characters, and they kind of have their own. These are all. I guess they're treating them like individual characters, but they're just Rabbids that are dressed up like some of the Mario cast.
I have to say, Yoshi with the bazooka is giving me flashbacks to Yoshi's Safari. That was with the Super Scope. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, yes.
I still have my Super Scope somewhere.
And it looks pretty cool. The graphic itself is pretty interesting. There's a lot of details to it that you can pull from.
And it says multiplayer co-op, which is kind of an interesting option for a turn. I mean, multiplayer co-op seems to be like Switch's like real bread and butter, which would be good to see in a turn-based combat game. If it's like a tactics or an XCOM kind of game, I could see a lot of cool options for teaming up with friends on that.
I'm a little skeptical.
Okay.
But I'm going to hold off on criticism until I see a few more details about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's your MO. We know that.
That's my side.
Tight-lipped JV.
I mean, I like having the stuff laid out, and I'll form my opinion based on that. Now here's the situation for me too. The Rabbids games in the past haven't really been the highest of quality. The Rabbids franchise has mostly been minigame compilations in the past, so I'm a little bit wary of that franchise. Mixing it with Mario doesn't necessarily make it more appealing to me specifically, but I'm not going to poo-poo it completely until I see the gameplay.
I think it could be an interesting mix-up. I know nothing about the Rabbids. I've never played one of their games, so I think I think Mario could benefit from a little lampooning. You know,
I
think it's a good opportunity for some self-aware humor.
Yes,
right, and I do think the Rabbids, how they're being portrayed in this graphic, is pretty funny.
Yes.
Yeah. And along those same lines, they made a little announcement on Twitter and other social media. They have confirmed that they will be having their Nintendo Spotlight at E3, which is on June 13th, 9 a.m., and they will be specifically have called out that they'll be talking about Super Mario Odyssey, which is one of the things we knew they were going to be talking about, but that's when we're going to get our big details about that next game that everyone's been clamoring about.
Exactly.
9 a.m. Pacific time, just to be clear.
Yes, good point there. They always use Pacific time. West Coasters.
It's because that's where their headquarters is.
Yeah. It's not where my headquarters are. I'm honestly actually a little more excited about this, that Level 5 has actually confirmed that they're working on at least one Nintendo Switch title.
I know which one you want.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, obviously I want a Layton game. I don't care which one, as long as it's one I haven't played yet, as long as it's a new one. Or if it's even the Lady Layton game, if they brought that to Switch, so I don't have to play it on the 3DS. If I could play it on the Switch, that'd be the most convenient thing for me. But I wouldn't mind Ni no Kuni, which was a great RPG that I didn't get to play because it was on console.
I did. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, right. And I know it was very well received, and even some people who aren't into monster capturing type games really flocked to it.
The only thing I hope it's not. Honestly, I gotta say, I just hope it's not a Yokai Watch. That's really it.
Oh, Abdallah Smash is going to.
Sorry, man. It's just the one thing I'd be like, all right. I mean, it might be something they do because it does have its following, and it is a very big push for them.
Honestly, I feel like the most likely between Ni no Kuni, Layton, and Yokai Watch is Yokai Watch.
Yeah,
I do think that's true. I think it is the most likely choice, unless it's a totally new IP. It could be something totally new entirely. Right. But yeah, if it is one of those, I think it is because that is probably their most bread and butter right now. Even though it's something that I have zero interest in going into.
Have you ever played any of the Yokai Watch games, Ren?
I played the demo for the one that was on the 3DS.
Okay.
And I liked it, but not enough to really get
Pull
into
the
it.
trigger on
Yeah.
It? Okay, gotcha.
It's like for my monster games, I have Pokemon, which I've already,
True, exactly.
which I already invest, several hundred hours into. I don't have time for another one.
Now, I'm looking at the next game on our docket. It's called Nine Parchments.
Yes.
So this is coming out for the Switch. It's from the same people who did Has Been Heroes. And it looks like a co-op dungeon crawling
Kind of Diablo
style game.
I would say I call it more of a gauntlet.
Okay.
Yeah, Gauntlet. Yeah. Gauntlet player style game. And honestly, this genre of games on the Switch is so exciting for me.
Honestly, yeah. These kind of games, and I don't mean this as a knock on it, they don't even have to be that great usually to get me to play them. Like, I've played some very cheap dungeon crawlers that just had some good action, and as long as there was like good multiplayer and maybe online connectivity, I dug them up. But this actually looks like really graphically beautiful. Just judging by the sprites, the characters, it does look like there's some different classes. So if there's like a warrior class, a mage class, and I don't see any equipment stuff, so I think it's not the kind of game where you have to loot and build up. It's just a pure action game where you're just going to be, crawling through dungeons, blasting stuff, and just pick the combination of characters you want with you.
Right. So I do see here the features listed are that you wield the power of elements and master diverse arsenals of spells. You unlock new playable characters, wizard hats, and magical staves. And you level up and train your characters in magical arts, but you have to choose your path wisely. So
okay.
It seems like there is a degree of persistence in leveling in this game, but it doesn't seem like it's quite as loot grindy as something like Diablo.
Well, it sounds like it's more skill, like you level up and you have a skill tree to unlock.
Right,
not
exactly.
a loot, yeah. And then all right, so it sounds like they're all mages, so it's all magical characters.
Yeah, and it looks pretty cool. The graphics are really spectacular for the scale that this is going for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's confirmed that it's online and local co-op, 1 to 4 players.
Perfect. That you got it. What I like from looking at this also is it doesn't look like randomly generated dungeons, which is like what a lot of these kind of games tend to do. Or even if they're not like randomly generated, they look like, they just took a very limited number of assets and then just kind of copy pasted them to make a, long, windy dungeon with repeating parts. These all look like very
deliberately
ornate,
designed.
Yes,
Yeah.
and deliberately designed kind of dungeons to go through. Which, yeah, this looks great. And I think if this comes out in like the $20 price tag, which I'm going to guess, I think it'll do pretty well. This could be a really good game to pick up.
I'm honestly a lot more excited about this game than I expected to be, and I feel like this is something I'll pick up possibly on day one to play with everyone.
I mean, yeah, if you can get 4 players and if it has online, I would love to pick this up. And I all I have is this trailer right now, but it looks like when multiplayer, 4-player, shoot 'em up co-op. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that.
Right. I feel like this is a game that we can pick up and play as a group together.
Yeah, that sounds exactly.
Yeah. If this is like $20, I would totally grab this instantly.
Yeah,
I'm
watching.
I'm watching them avoid all the hazards and jump over the wave that the one enemy sent towards them and all this stuff, and I'm like feeling the old World of Warcraft raider inside of me, being like, we used to do this.
It looks like a World of Warcraft raid mixed with the perspective of Gauntlet Legends.
Yeah,
or Gauntlet
with a bit more more actual action and less pressing a button to do you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you. Like a key bar.
Right.
All right, let's we got to blow through some of this stuff. Bloodstained, which is the spiritual successor to Symphony of the Night. Yeah. It looks like that we have a whiles to wait. That is only about 20 to 30% complete. We only got a couple of little screenshots. It still looks really nice. There's a part of me that's still worried that this doesn't become a Mighty Number 9.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've all been burned by Kickstarter games like Mighty Number 9.
This
Hopefully
is the chance
doesn't do that.
to renew that faith people can have in this direction of game funding.
Yes, here's your chance for redemption.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to mention this only because a couple people were like, "Oh, when was this game announced?" And I noticed this was on Netflix, on GameFly, but I never mentioned it because it's Cars 3: Driven to Win. It's a Cars game. It looks like a racing game. It's been on GameFly for a while, and I just never really thought too much about it, but I guess I should mention that it exists for anyone here who is a Cars or a younger racing fan. Oh, so you can actually now buy standalone Nintendo Switch docks, which have just gone up for pre-order on the UK Amazon, so it should be available on the US Amazon shop soon. We will be sure to leave our links to that in the show notes as soon as they're available. But you can always check there.
How much are they going for?
I think they were about $90.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. But this game, actually, we had 2 other games that we got announced this week, and you kind of took a fancy to one of them.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna cast judgment on it until I can actually see what the gameplay is, kind of, because there's not a whole lot. I mean, it's the kind of game it looks like that could get repetitive very quickly.
Okay.
But the art style is adorable.
What is the name?
It is Cat Quest, and it's basically it looks kind of like an RPG with kitty cats. And it's adorable. It says an open world adventure. So there you go. No turn-based battles though. It's all looks like you're fighting on the overworld.
And the other one is Owlboy, which is a 2D Metroidvania style game. And yes, this is on Steam currently, so probably you can look up some gameplay videos more of what it's all about. But it also has a pretty cool little art style going for it here.
Yes, sprite-based artwork, very pretty. Platformy Metroidvania kind of gameplay. But it looks nice.
The backgrounds are awesome, like the way the clouds are just floating around and drifting away. Yeah, it's kind of cool. So your character can fly around, it looks like, in here. And so that's pretty nice. That's always nice in a exploration kind of Metroidvania game, to just have that freedom to reach new platforms and explore a little more easily. Yeah, rather than just double jumping. But yeah, pretty cool. And also in the new releases, this is a big one of controversy. Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers, it should be out as of the day this is posted. And this has actually been getting some meh reviews, actually, by most of the reviewers right now.
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. Was there anything specific that people pointed out as the primary issue for Street Fighter 2?
Well, no one's really had a problem with the game itself, but it's kind of been a debate of whether the game is worth the $40 price tag that it has on it, which... I mean, look, Street Fighter 2 is, it's the legend. It's probably the most influential fighting game in the history of fighting games. And it's a limited roster. That's kind of a negative, but at the same time, that's why the game is so balanced, and it really is, it does hold up even today. But yeah, I mean, $40 is pretty steep. They kind of feel that Way of the Hado mode, which is just kind of trash, it's not really needed. They probably would have been better off just getting rid of that mode and cutting the price in half. And other than that, it doesn't really add anything new. They have the two characters. There's the evil Ryu and the violent Ken. Yeah, but both of those are actually available in other games, so it's not really anything new. So yeah, it just have trouble justifying a $40 price tag.
Right, that's a pretty good point. This game has been out for a while, and the biggest selling point for Ultra Street Fighter 2 on the Switch is the portability of it. And if that's not worthwhile to you, $40 is definitely a big ask.
Yeah, but is there anything about it that you can't also say about all the literally the dozen Neo Geo fighters that are on the eShop right now for $8 each?
Yeah, well, the biggest advantage of Ultra Street Fighter 2 compared to those Neo Geo re-releases is the online infrastructure of it.
That's true.
Yeah, you can't really play online with other people with the Neo Geo games. So if you're really looking for that experience, this is the game to go for. But
I guess that is true. I mean, you have no other option for that feature right now.
Yeah. This is the only online fighting game that's available to you right now.
Which really makes me say, Pocket Rumble, get in the game, man. Get that game out. Get that on here. Make that online thing. Because you know what? I think there's going to be a lot of disenfranchised people who are going to be very ticked off about the $40 price tag on this, who when they see the $10 price tag of a really well-balanced, interesting fighter like Pocket Rumble, might give it a go now. They need to get in here soon and add that, make that alternate option for an online fighting game.
I agree. They really need to get in on that as soon as possible, because
they needed to get in on it last month,
Because at this point, it's very possible that that Capcom does a price drop of Ultra Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, you think they might do that?
Yeah, it's very possible, in my opinion. They
Okay.
did that for Bomberman.
That's
Konami
true.
did that for Bomberman, so if they see a big backlash
They did that
on the
before
price,
release, though. It is worth noting. They did that price drop before the game came out.
true.
Because
But,
people will be
yeah.
ticked off. People who paid $40 for they got to wait at least 6 months. Because people who paid $40 for it are going to be very ticked if they drop the price like right after it came out.
Right immediately. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But will Pocket Rumble come out in 6 months? That's the thing.
It still says end of spring, which is still got another month in it.
Here's hoping.
And the final new release as of today is Rhyme.
So I actually got to try out Rhyme at South by Southwest.
Awesome.
It's a very slow burn puzzle
Interesting.
game. It plays very similarly to Eco.
Okay.
If the Shadow Colossus Eco games,
Mm-hmm.
in that you're running around, exploring a area and figuring out small switch puzzles and block positioning puzzles to get to the next area.
Mm-hmm.
It's gorgeous. During the demo, it was actually quite a spectacle, and people really were awed by how beautiful it looks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very quiet. It's very serene,
I like that.
and it's a slow burn. It's not fast paced in any way.
Very cool, very cool. I wonder if it has that, like, the thing that got me into, like, games like Ico and Shadow of the Colossus really is the mystery. Like, just the way the world is so, like, just little clues as to what's going on in this world, but, like, none of the characters spoke English, and no one really explained why, like, this guy had horns and stuff like that. Just all those little mysteries that made it so engaging, you know?
Well, in the demo, you didn't really get to delve into the story or into the world building of it, so I can't really speak to it that much, but the gameplay it's pretty fun.
Cool.
But slow.
All right, that is our news. Let's get into some community pulse, hear what the people have to ask us about, and let's wrap this show up, shall we?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, community pulse, time to hear what the people want to hear us talk about. And why don't we kick it off with Robert Andurhar, who asked, what's your future E3 Nintendo bingo sheet looking like? I'm going to tell you this, Robert. Next week. We will probably think this through a little more carefully. I think next week we can have a little section where we try to make a few predictions of E3, but there's a lot of stuff going on in our head. So I'll just tease that and pass the mic to you, JV.
All right, so from Warren Fernandez, he said, last week I stated that I wasn't interested in ARMS, but this week I have opened up a bit more to the game. The many controller modes are quite interesting, and I want to play using the thumbs-up playstyle. Can't wait for the test fire.
Test
He means
punch.
test punch.
Yes.
Test punch.
Get it right.
But I'm glad to see so many people starting to warm up to ARMS, because I'm actually pretty confident that this is going to be the next Splatoon. We mentioned in the past, so many people were so skeptical about Splatoon and its concept. And once it came out, people were really more receptive to it. And I feel like ARMS is the same way.
And you know, they've probably learned their lessons about how to do that better, because I did the poll last week, actually. Our latest weekend poll was, how has your interest or hype towards ARMS changed over time? And almost half of the people who responded said that they have grown in their interest over time. A quarter of people said they've always been into it. So they've been really, half the people that are interested in it now might sound like they've started out not so, and that they've kind of been warming up to it through all these kind of, like, you know, these teasers and all the different things they've shown us over time of it.
Yeah. Rin, is this something that you were considering picking up?
ARMS? I'm not sure yet. I have the Test Punch thing downloaded. I'm probably going to try it out at least on Sunday, since I have off on Sunday. But just to give it a try and see if it sticks.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like a game that you would be particularly interested in, but I'm definitely interested to hear what how you feel about it, since it doesn't seem like it's part of the genres you play.
No, well, I'm kind of feeling the same way I felt about Splatoon with it, which is that it looks really cool, but I'm not sure if it's going to be one of those things that I buy and I play for a little while and then I just stop because I'm just not into that genre.
Right.
But I don't know. I'll give it a try.
And why don't you give a try at reading the next question?
Okay. Rick Caceres? I hope I said that right. My apologies if I messed it up. What are each of your favorite games of all time? Mine is Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger
Excellent
is
choice.
Awesome. My favorite game of all time, if I have to pick one, my full screen name probably gives it away. It is Okami. And I desperately want Capcom to port Okami HD over to the Switch.
Oh, that would be perfect with just touching the screen to draw.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, even if they didn't do that, even if it just ported it with the controls like they had on the PS4, PS3, just port it, please, yes.
I feel like a game like that would be perfect on the Switch because there's already a fan base for that style of game with Zelda. So
yeah, right, yeah. JV?
I can't. It's hard to pick your favorite game.
I know.
If I can do it, so can you. I have so many.
You go first.
I have so many old Super Nintendo games I could have chosen.
Everyone knows the one I fawn over all the time. Like Suikoden 2 is my favorite RPG, but probably the one game that I've played the most and had the most fun with, though, of all time is Final Fantasy Tactics, War of the Lions. It's the perfect system of strategy, story, and just real, great mix of mechanics. And I played this. Actually, that's the only game I ever I beat it and then was like, I'm starting a new file. I'm doing this over. I'm not done with this game. And I just started a new game the next day. Suikoden is just the most special game to me in my heart, and due to story and other reasons. And so I'm kind of cheating, but I still say Tactics is my favorite game, but Suikoden 2 is my favorite story.
Oh man, I am blanking here because for me, I'm such a fickle gamer, or at least a moody gamer, in the sense that my favorite game is always dependent on how I'm feeling at the time. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's certain times when I'm just like, Ace Attorney is my favorite franchise. But whenever I'm playing MechWarrior, MechWarrior is just like my absolute favorite. It's that Mass Effect. Done.
I'll choose this one to follow up on that one. Tony Lyons wrote in, do you somehow get the feeling that we get bored with the latest Switch games too quickly? I definitely feel like it's hard for people to stay focused and really relish a game when the next new hotness comes out,
Right.
I feel like people in general do. I don't. I am a nurturer, and if I get a game, if I wasn't doing this podcast, I'm the kind of person who would get a game and just play it for months and ignore everything new. Again, I'm a fatigue guy, so I will ignore everything new that came out until I've thoroughly finished that game. Then I find the next thing. But, I think there's a lot of people who buy more games than they can beat, and they just kind of play each one 25% through and then start playing the next game.
Mm-hmm.
Guilty.
Yeah.
That's what I do sometimes, and I will be the first one to admit that I'm the type of player that if there's a new hotness, I will move over to the new hotness and play it with everyone. The games that excite me are the ones that excite the community as a whole, just because I love relishing in that environment of gaming. So, and that's just the type of gamer that I am. And obviously, Casey and I contrast very differently in that aspect.
Yes.
And I can't say I'm necessarily bored of the last games, but I want to ride the hype waves so that I can stay within the excitement ocean throughout its whole run.
I mean, I guess it's hard to say for Switch to get bored too quickly because it's still so young. I mean, like, if people stop talking about Zelda, like, already, I mean, people still are talking about it and they still are finding stuff in it. So I don't think it's true yet for Switch in general.
Yeah.
I mean, even though,
And of the Switch games out right now, most of them are pretty quick games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah.
Like Blaster Master Zero, I think I completed like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
You
like
can beat
Zelda,
them.
whereas a game like Zelda, we don't have a whole lot of those on the system. I mean, that you could spend like hundreds of hours in, right?
And I think you can get into the illusion that people are getting bored too quickly when a new game comes out and that's what's replaced and you see hundreds of people talking about it online, but those people might not have been interested in Zelda. Like, there's people who just skip certain games and then when the new hotness comes out, they play it, but that's all you see online. It's just, it takes over and the internet gets bored with the old game, but I still think there's a lot of us playing them.
Right, and if you think about it, a game like Zelda is already about 3-4 months old.
Mm-hmm.
So people are gonna start to move on to the next game, and that's just the natural release schedule of the Switch so far.
Next question.
Logan Keller says, Nintendo is promoting esports for E3, but online play is so far bad for organizing and chatting. Will this neuter Splatoon's launch?
That's an interesting point, actually. Hopefully by the time E3 is out, we would get more details regarding Nintendo's online infrastructure. But so far, we've been having to use third-party resources to organize and chat for Nintendo online experiences since Nintendo Online Play started. So we're a little used to this type of experience already.
Yeah, I think the community can overcome that. I mean, it is not that hard to use something like Discord or for people to get around it. It would be nice if it was in the app. I think that would make it better, but I don't think it's going to neuter it. I don't think it's going to. I think already, if you're listening to this podcast, you already have an in to getting and organizing and community gaming going.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think it will neuter Splatoon's launch, considering just how popular it was on the Wii U, and that didn't have any chatting or team online organization options.
Yeah.
I do feel like it would benefit from having that online infrastructure set up, but I don't think it'll be incredibly crippled for not having it during its launch. And from Steeler Fan, would like your thoughts on ARM's tensed punch expectations, non-motion control options, and why there's no ARM's English-speaking Twitter account. Honestly, I'm expecting to have fun with the test punch. I got to demo ARMS at South by Southwest and at PAX, and I had so much fun with it. I haven't been able to delve into the non-motion control options myself, but that's something I'm personally going to investigate during the test punch because it's an option that might appeal to a wider audience that aren't convinced with motion controls yet.
Also, it means you can play it on the go and not make a complete idiot of yourself on the train.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's important because, that's like, you're going to want to play it online the way you practice the most. And I'm going to be practicing on the train. And I'm not going to be able to, use the motion controls there. So I might end up using the non-motion controls just because I'm going to be practicing in places where I can't. So that's a good point.
And I definitely want to see how they're going to set that up. Yeah. I want to see if it feels natural or if motion controls is really the only way to feel comfortable playing the game.
Maybe. And why there's no ARMS English Twitter account, I don't know.
I didn't even know they didn't have one. Goes to show you how much I spent on Twitter.
I guess because Nintendo America just posts everything, ARMS related. So I guess that's it. They just have Nintendo of America do all that work. Because it has all the following, and you want to post it on the account that has the most people who are going to see it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I guess we'll end with Andre Geschwind. Love that. How could Nintendo calm the rage explosion when Pokemon Stars isn't announced at E3?
Wait, what? It's not being announced? What?
Yeah.
Ah!
I mean, I guess,
Rage.
I don't think it will be announced then, but it would be really good if it is, but if it is, or if it isn't, I think there's just a lot of other things for people to be focused on right now, and no one's expecting it to come out soon, and we don't need to hear it at E3. I think they're going to focus on, the Mario. We're going to hear more about the Rabbids. We're going to have some big titles, and we might get a teaser about a Pokemon game, but
Right. I agree. I feel like if we are going to get a Pokemon announcement for the mainline games at E3, it'll only be a teaser. And I feel like we shouldn't be up in arms if there's nothing about it this E3. Now, next E3, maybe.
Because, most Pokemon fans, they're still they're still living in the Sun and Moon world, and they know, you can be confident. Pokemon players don't have to get angry because we know the next Pokemon game's coming for something.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them don't even care if it comes out for 3DS or Switch. Honestly, I don't think most Pokemon fans care one way or the other, or if they do, they probably want it to stay on the 3DS. But
I want it to be on the Switch.
I want it to be on the Switch, but I don't think, I think a lot of them would take it or leave it either way. Whatever it's going to come out, I'm going to play it on something. Just get it out there. I don't care. And that's it. That's it for the... Oh, or do you have anything else to add to that, Rin? Being
Nope.
one of the... No? Okay.
Not particularly.
Okay. And then that will close out our show for the night. So... Thank you, Rin, for sticking it out with us and listening to us jabber like old men for an hour and a half here.
No
Yeah,
problem.
man, that must be painful. Hearing how the sausage is made.
But thank you very much for being on the show. It was a pleasure having you. Is there anything you'd like to plug or let people check out of yours?
Are you referring to my Monster Hunter Tumblr that I haven't updated in a while?
Fair enough, then. I'll still leave a link to that anyway.
Okay.
And thank you all for listening. If you like this show and want to hear us do more, as always, please visit us at patreon.com/theswitchcast. And that is the place to go to pledge support for the show. And you can give us $1 a month. You can give us $5 a month. Whatever you want. There are certain rewards that we'll give out at different levels. But most of all, we will be doing a better show because of it. Will let us buy better equipment and do more stuff and dedicate more time to it. We also have Amazon links. Those are affiliate links. They just give us a percentage, a little, tip for directing people toward them. So if you're buying anything from Amazon, either go to our homepage and click on the Amazon link, or click on any of the items we link to here, like those, 8-bit dough controllers, and you can buy them through that and help us out. Of course, you can go to iTunes, leave us a review, 5 stars or better, and that helps us get in more people's ears. You can follow us at the SwitchCast on Twitter. We have a Facebook group, Instagram, whole bunch of shenanigans. Thanks, Essa, for the music. Let's get out of here. Until next time, everybody. Rin, you say.
Yeah.
Switch it up.